After the meeting with Zara, a deep silence settled over the house. The living room, once filled with laughter, had become unusually quiet. The cheerful echoes of children's voices in the hallway had been replaced by slow, thoughtful footsteps. Mayhin sat in her room pretending to study, but her eyes drifted across the pages without reading a single word. Maren walked to Mary's bedroom door several times, only to turn back each time. Mutton sat in his office, staring at the files on his desk, unable to focus on a single sentence. Because that night, everyone was thinking the same thing. The past was no longer knocking on the door. It had already come inside. A sleepless night. Mary lay in bed, but sleep refused to come. She walked over to the window. The lights of Istanbul shimmered across the night. The headlights of passing cars traced bright lines through the streets, a gentle breeze drifted in from the Bosphorus, and a few pale stars watched from the sky. But inside Mary, another storm was raging. Where is my real mother now? Did she truly never want me? What if she turns her face away when she sees me? The questions tightened around her heart. A soft knock came at the door. Ayten stepped inside. She was wearing a light cream-colored cardigan, and her face carried the same calm, comforting expression that had always made Mary feel safe. Without saying a word, she sat beside her near the window. For a while, they simply shared the silence. Then Ayten gently took Mary's hand. "Your heart feels very confused, doesn't it?" Without taking her eyes off the city lights, Mary nodded. "Mom," she whispered, "I've learned so much. I found out I have another mother, but she didn't want me." Her voice trembled. "I keep wondering what she's like. I want to know who she is, but I'm so afraid." Ayten's heart ached. Sometimes being a mother meant feeling your child's pain as if it were your own. Mary continued, "What if she doesn't want to see me? What if she looks at me and feels nothing?" Ayten gently pulled her into an embrace. "Listen to me." She cupped Mary's face in her hands. "If someone rejects you, it does not mean you are unworthy." Her eyes filled with tears, but her voice remained steady. "You are one of the most precious gifts in this world. You are the greatest miracle that ever came into our lives." Mary could no longer hold back her tears. Ayten softly stroked her hair. "It's natural to wonder where your roots are. Every person wants to know where they came from." She rested her forehead against Mary's. "But you already know where you belong." Mutton's quiet strength. Just then, the bedroom door opened again. Mutton walked in carrying 3 warm mugs of milk. A gentle smile appeared on his face. "In this house," he said softly, "important conversations are never faced alone." A small smile appeared on Mary's face. Mutton handed her one of the mugs and sat beside them. For a long moment, he simply looked at his daughter. Then he spoke with calm confidence. "Mary, if you want to find your biological mother, we won't stop you." She looked up at him. "Wanting to understand your past is never wrong." He took a slow breath. "But never forget one thing." He placed his hand gently on her shoulder. "No matter what happens, you will always have a mother and a father who will never leave your side." Ayten quietly closed her eyes. Those words filled the room with warmth. Mutton smiled softly. "Us." That single word settled gently into Mary's heart. At that moment, she realized something important. No matter what happened, she would never face it alone. The battle within. As the night grew darker, everyone returned to their own rooms. But Mary still couldn't sleep. She sat on her bed, wrapped her arms around her knees, and whispered to herself, "I am strong. But I need to know the truth." For the first time, she understood it so clearly. Sometimes, a person cannot fully walk toward the future until they understand their past. The next day. The following day at school, Mary wasn't herself. She drifted through every lesson, barely hearing the teacher's voice. During recess, her closest friend, Elif, noticed her unusual silence. "Are you okay?" For a long moment, Mary said nothing. Then, for the first time, she told someone everything. About her biological family. About the letter she had found. about the fears that had been growing inside her. Elif listened without interrupting. When Mary finished, Elif gently held her hand. "I think you're very lucky." Mary looked at her in surprise. "Why?" "Because you already have people who truly love you." Tears filled Mary's eyes. Elif smiled warmly. "But if your heart is still waiting for answers, you'll never feel completely at peace until you find them." Those words stayed with Mary all day, because they described exactly what she was feeling. The decision. That evening, Ayten was preparing dinner in the kitchen while Mutin sat quietly in the living room. Mary stopped in the doorway. Her heart was pounding. She took a deep breath. "Mom, Dad." Both of them turned toward her. There was fear in her eyes. But there was determination too. "I've made my decision." Ayten slowly lowered the spoon she was holding. Mutin watched her carefully. Mary spoke softly. "I want to find my biological mother." Silence filled the room. Then she continued. "But I don't want to do it alone." Her eyes filled with tears. "I want to do it with you." Ayten could no longer hold back her tears. She hurried across the room and wrapped her daughter tightly in her arms. Mutin joined them, gently resting his hand on Mary's head. "Then we'll begin," he said with quiet confidence. "And no matter what we find, you will never walk this road alone." For the first time since everything had changed, Mary felt some of the fear lift from her heart. Because when love walks beside you, even the darkest roads begin to shine. Sometimes the bravest decision is not to run away from the past, but to face it with the people who love you. And that night, Mary discovered that courage does not mean being fearless. It means taking the next step, while holding the hands that have never let you go. After that night, nothing in the house was the same anymore. Everything looked exactly as it always had. The living room was still warm and welcoming. The aroma of the coffee Ayten had prepared once again drifted from the kitchen. Every morning, Merin still rushed around looking for her school bag. Mayhin quietly gathered her books. But beneath all that ordinary routine, something had changed. There was waiting. And the slow approach of the past. A silent decision. Early that morning, Mutin went into his study. His phone never left his hand as he began calling lawyer friends and old contacts he had known for years. His desk was covered with files. Meanwhile, Ayten had spread old documents across the large table in the living room. Yellowed papers, official reports, folders stamped with official seals. Every piece of paper carried a trace of her daughter's past. As Ayten opened the files, she noticed that her hands were trembling. Years ago, when she had put those documents away, she had hoped they would never have to be opened again. But sometimes life forces people to face their oldest wounds. Just then, the doorbell rang. It was Zehra. She was carrying an old brown folder. She looked tired, but there was determination in her eyes. She quietly walked inside, sat at the table, and carefully opened the folder. "These are the last documents I have about my sister." The room fell silent. Mary held her breath. Zehra continued. "As far as I know, she lived in Ankara many years ago. She worked there for a while, and then suddenly disappeared." Mutin carefully examined the documents. Addresses. Old telephone records. A hospital form. A rental agreement. Each one felt like a broken piece of the past. His eyes stopped on one page. "There's an address here." Ayten immediately leaned closer. "Where?" "One of the old neighborhoods in Buku." He frowned slightly. "The address is very old. She's probably no longer living there. But it could still be an important clue to begin our search." A small spark of hope grew inside Ayten. Maybe the neighbors know something. Maybe someone has seen her. Mutin tried to remain calm. He knew how fragile Mary's emotions were. Looking gently at his daughter, he said, "This journey won't be easy." Then, in a serious yet gentle voice, he continued, "We may discover the truth, but we may also learn things that will hurt us." Mary quietly lowered her head. "I know." Ayten immediately sat beside her. "Are you afraid?" For several seconds, Mary couldn't answer. Finally, her lips trembled as she whispered, "Yes, but I don't want to run away anymore." Those words deeply touched everyone in the room. Because little Mary was growing up. And sometimes growing up means choosing to move forward despite your fears. The letter that was never sent. That night, Mary couldn't sleep once again. She sat down at her desk. The small bedside lamp filled the room with a soft golden light. She placed a blank sheet of paper in front of her. She held the pen for a long time without writing. Some feelings are heavier than words. Finally, she took a deep breath and began. "Dear Mom, I don't know you. I don't know your voice. I don't know your smile. I don't even know your favorite color. But I know you exist. And for years, I've carried an emptiness inside me that I could never explain. I don't even know whether I'm angry with you, or whether I miss you. Sometimes I wonder, when you left me, did you ever look back? When I cried, did your heart ache too? Or was forgetting me easier?" Tears fell onto the paper as Mary continued writing. But she didn't stop. "Maybe you don't want to see me. Maybe you don't want to remember your past. But there is still a child inside me waiting for answers. I only want to know one thing. Why?" When she finally put down the pen, her hands were shaking. She folded the letter carefully. She looked at it for a long moment. Then she slipped it beneath her pillow. Perhaps she would never send it. But for the first time, she felt that the pain inside her heart had become just a little lighter. The road to Buku. The next morning, the house woke much earlier than usual. Aitan quietly packed a suitcase. Mutton checked the car. Mayhin and Marin watched their older sister with worried eyes. No one spoke loudly, because everyone knew this was not an ordinary journey. It was a journey toward the past. As the car left Istanbul and continued onto the long highway, a deep silence filled the vehicle. Soft music played on the radio, but no one was listening. Mary rested her head against the window. She watched the roads rushing past outside. Only one question echoed through her mind. What if we really find her? Aitan quietly reached for her daughter's hand. She held it tightly. "Don't be afraid, my beautiful girl." Mary looked at her mother. Looking into her daughter's eyes, Aitan continued. "Wherever we go together." From the driver's seat, Mutton looked at his daughters through the rearview mirror. There was strength in his face, but also deep emotion. "And whatever we face, we'll face it together." As the car continued down the long road, Mary realized something for the first time. Perhaps the past could wound a person. But when love walks beside you, you learn how to keep walking, even with those wounds.
If you're curious about the continuation of this story, you can support me by subscribing to my channel. Liking the video and sharing your thoughts in the comments greatly helps my stories reach more people.